guys, Mary Lee Johnson here again with the 21 Convention 2014. Dr. Paul Jaminet just did his talk and it was all about nutrition and sleep cycles, and everybody had so many questions for you, and I'm going to read a few that they didn't get a chance to ask, because I'm sure if we want to know, then all you guys out there want to know, because just sleeping and diet is so important and something that we do every single day. So I wanted to ask, if you want to eat healthy, but you don't necessarily like healthy foods, like maybe somebody wants to eat, but they don't like salmon, or they don't like eggs, or they don't like organ meat, do you just force yourself to eat it, or do you substitute it?
Well, there are workarounds, but it's really good to learn how to make them palatable.
Okay.
And develop a taste for them. You know, so often people will dislike a food like liver, but when they find the most palatable way to eat it, and then they start eating it, their brain learns to like it. And most people have gone through this with coffee. It didn't taste great the first time, or beer. It didn't taste great the first time, but before long, people really enjoy them. And you can do the same things with liver or eggs or some other foods. So I would say that's the most, the best way to approach it, because there aren't really good non-food substitutes for these things. One thing that some people do resort to in terms of liver is they'll cook it, then they'll chop it up into pill sizes, freeze them, and then they'll swallow the pill with yogurt, as if it were a supplement. And so that can work too. Then you don't taste it.
Really wants to eat the liver.
Liver is very important. You should eat your liver.
Okay. I had a question about, you said that your body craves what it needs, especially salt, but what happens if I'm craving donuts?
Well, now your brain is very flexible. It can learn in lots of ways, and your brain in its natural form, came to expect that certain nutrients would accompany certain flavors. And, when it gets carbohydrates, it thinks it's eating a plant food and it's getting all the nutrients that come with plant food. And so when, you taste carbohydrates, like in a donut, it thinks it's getting lots of other things. And then if you ate the donut, it's going to be disappointed. So, so then you'll get hungry again. And it'll say, go back and get more of that thing, because you just didn't eat enough, right? And so you have to bring a little bit of intelligence, and it really helps if you take the point of view that I'm going to eat a natural whole foods diet. I won't eat all of these industrial foods like donuts, so then you will be getting the nutrition your brain expects to accompany it. So your cravings then will be directing you in a good direction. That's the most important thing. And then if you can bring a little bit of intelligence to think about, all right, what is a balanced diet? And compare how I've been eating to that, what's missing. And if you can start supplying the things that are missing, then you're much more likely to address those cravings and eliminate them.
Great. So that fully answers my question. And at the end of your talk, you were talking about antibiotics and germs, and you said something about trying to avoid foods that certainly have germs on them, and washing your hands. Are we taking it too far, though? Should we be not trying to avoid the germs so much, but build our immune systems more?
Well, you want to do both.
Okay.
So, and the way you build your immune system is in the ways that I talked about in the first 2/3 of my talk, with diet and nutrition, and with lifestyle, circadian rhythm entrainment. So a lot of immunity happens at night. You need to entrain circadian rhythms to get it. And immunity is very nutrition dependent. It's dependent on vitamin A, so you need to eat your liver. Vitamin D, you need to get sunshine. So building up your immune system, very important. Building up your beneficial bacteria, very important with fermented foods. But once you're doing that, the hygiene is really important as a third element. So if you think of how do you ferment vegetables in order to make them beneficial to you, you're creating an environment that very much resembles your colon, and you're giving them food, the vegetables, similar to what you're eating. And so that's an anaerobic environment, no oxygen. It's an acidic environment. The ferments are not safe to eat until they become acidic. It's a salty environment, and so it's a very specific environment which breeds beneficial bacteria. And what you're getting out in the general environment with lots of oxygen, it's much more likely to be pathogenic to us. And so hygiene, and every time you wash your hands, the odds of it helping you are relatively small. But if you keep doing it over a lifetime, it could add a year to your life or something like that.
Something we all want to do usually. You said something about heart attacks and heart disease are caused by infection, but I've always been told that it was due to high cholesterol.
Well, there are multiple causes to
Okay.
all the chronic diseases. So there are definitely dietary elements, and high cholesterol will contribute to arterial disease. So what happens is our white blood cells both have the function of removing infectious microbes and also dealing with toxins and removing toxins. And our cholesterol is a sensor of toxins and infections. And when you have the high cholesterol, it basically alerts the white blood cells to the presence of infections. When you have high cholesterol, you're alerting your white blood cells all the time, often to the fact that you have lots of toxins from food or gut bacteria, little fragments of gut bacteria that have entered your body. And so you're giving all these false alarms to the white blood cells, and you can end up really damaging the white blood cells, turning them into what's called foam cells that build up atherosclerotic plaques, and those ultimately end up giving you a heart attack. So there's a lot of things you can do to promote heart disease risk, but if you never got an infection, then your white blood cells would deal with all of the other things pretty well, and you'd be heart attack free. So, so you really need, generally speaking, in order to get a disease, you need to do more than one thing wrong. And usually one of the things that goes wrong is an infection of some kind. So
I think you cover most of this in your book. I've read your book and I love it, and it's The Perfect Health Diet. And if people want to read more about you or attend one of your retreats, where do they go?
Well, go to our website, perfecthealthdiet.com, and you can read there about our retreats. We're also putting up information at perfecthealthretreat.com. And so the book is a great summary of how to eat, but the best way to learn everything we know, and we're constantly trying to learn and update all of our advice, is to come to our retreats. It's in a luxury location on the beach. We provide fantastic food and lodging. We've got 2 hot tubs, 2 heated pools, and a gorgeous beach, and lots of great people also. So it's a really good experience, and we're hoping to prove that people who come can cure their diseases and extend their lives by many years.
And this is the first time you've spoken at the 21 convention. How are you finding it?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's a terrific group of people, and really interesting information, interesting speakers, and I've had a great time.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your speech. You guys will get to see that speech soon. This is Marilee Johnson signing off for the 21 Convention 2014 with Dr. Paul Jaminet. Thank you.
Thank you.